Hey guys, it's ANicWin, also known as Amy, and happy Monday. I hope you're having a lovely day. This is Mount Komorebi is where we are, and this is going to be an onsen. So recently I'm playing in a save file, and I had my Sims go on a date to the existing onsen that is in Mount Como, and it just didn't do what I needed it to do. The lot is a little too singular for me, and it was just hard to make it feel engaging and dynamic. So I sat down, I built my own version. I also had really been jonesing for a build in Mount Komorebi. I really like building here. It's so peaceful, but I feel like all my builds look the same. So I don't I don't always give in. But I'm really happy with how this turned out, and you'll see more as we go along, obviously. So I did not use a reference image at all, and that's not like a weird flex. I tried to use a reference image and the proportions were off, so I scrapped it and I just built what felt instinctively correct. I don't know if this is architecturally accurate, but it does blend in with the world, so I'm not displeased with the result. There you go. Anytime I use a reference image, I do try to post it or include it in the video so you can see. Not that that's necessary, but yeah, this one was off the cuff, as they say. So as we're watching the exterior come together, I did decide to use a richer brown roof. The windows aren't the exact same shade of brown, but they are also darker, and then I paired it with that lighter wood tone, and then with the base game flooring that has both of the wood tones, well, a good mixture of the darker and the lighter in it. It is kind of all like creamy and orangey. It's in the same sort of color family, which I enjoy. So that was a personal choice. You may not like that blend, and all of the materials that I use do come in the same, well, close to the same color swatches. So if you'd rather it all be that lighter color or the darker color, that's a really easy fix or change to make if that's something that you would want to change. The fencing, okay, so I'm going to agree before anyone says anything. The fencing's a little bit weird because I alternated, I think, an eco lifestyle fence with, I think that one's perfect patio, like the privacy fence. I wanted a privacy fence to be tall, but I didn't want it to be the same. I don't even know how to fully explain what I was going for, but I did that to try to see like which fence I wanted. And like just playing around, like I had a little strip of like 5 pieces and I kind of did it kind of on accident, an intentional accident. But anyway, I liked it and I decided to keep it. So I would not be offended if you hated that. It's like an experimental little design choice. I'm not even certain I would ever do it again, but I think for this build and this build only, it works. That's my only defense I have against that choice. But yeah, and that back building is going to be something. At the time of building the shape, I didn't know exactly what it was going to be, so we kind of figured that out as we go. Right now we're figuring out the landscaping. I knew I didn't want anything too tall, like I didn't want a ton of really tall trees because there are so many surrounding the lot, and I knew I wanted it to be kind of overgrown because I want the back half of this to feel private. I want it to feel open, but I wanted it to be kind of like a little oasis. So when you're here and you're back there, you're not worried about people walking by and like peeping in at you while you're trying to relax. That was the gist. That was the goal. So we worked on the front half of this yard first. I was initially only going to put the pavers there and not across the front, but then I realized I built way too close to the edge of the lot. And no landscaping was going to fit there that was going to look good. Because it's draping over into concrete, which then drapes over into sand. So like it wasn't going to look great. And at that point in my head, I had already mapped out what was going to be in the backyard, and there just was not space to move it back even a single tile. So I continue the little pavers down. I'll be honest with you, I enjoy it, I like it, but it's not my favorite thing I've ever done. And sometimes it be like that, you know? Sometimes you do something and it's just not, it doesn't scratch the itch, I guess. But I think it looks fine, obviously. It's not, if I had to do it over, I honestly would have placed this on a bigger lot, but at this point I was too far into it, right? So then we move on to the other side here. The front is not a place for activities. It's really just to kind of draw you in. Like if you're a consumer, I guess, you're out on the street, you're like, what is this? It's meant to look kind of peaceful and quiet and not cozy, calming. There we go. There we go. I can do words. So that was it for the front yard. It's very small. And then we go ahead and head into the backyard here. This is, yes, it's sand. I'm not doing a little zen thing. This is going to be for a little yoga area. So I placed 3 mats. All 3 of them are going to be different. I placed the same ones initially. So your sim can come out here and just kind of get their yoga on. I also place a meditation stool, and I can't remember if I do that on camera or not. So that kind of corner of the yard is for fitness, meditation, wellness, that kind of thing. And then over here we have the actual onsen. I was going to use the wooden one at first. I decided I liked this better because it was going to allow me to fill this corner with rocks and it was going to look normal-ish. That's a judgment call. But I pile a bunch of these up. These are all debug. I didn't have any routing issues or anything like that. If you do, you may just have to remove a couple of them. I think the ones in the back left are probably going to be the ones that give you the most issue, if anything. The ones on the right really shouldn't intersect with any sort of routing path or anything like that. Then we're kind of working on the walkway here. I didn't want to use anything that looked too traditional, I guess. I don't know. I went with these rounded ones as opposed to something square. I was gonna go for the little pebbled look initially, and it was too green. So I landed on this, and I like this actually because it kind of looks like crushed stone in a fancy pattern to me. That might just be me, but I liked it. And we're gonna outline this section here in some bushes, and this is actually gonna be like a little fire pit area. And I do use the Dream Home Decorator sectional a lot in this build, or pieces. It's not always together, but it came in handy. It just felt like it fit, you know? And it shocked me because I didn't anticipate doing that, and it just sort of happened naturally. I also want to say my computer is like going through it, and I don't really know what's up. I'm gonna have to look at that later. It's normally not this loud, and it's like, can you hear it? I don't know. The music that I place over this might cover it up. But if you hear like what sounds like a jet engine, it's actually not that loud. But if you hear any loud like roaring noise, it's the computer fan. I don't know. Or like Wondershare had an update and now it's like mad at me. So that's a problem for future, Amy. But I do apologize if it's noticeable, because I'm just now noticing it. So we're finishing up the back here. I decided to get rid of the walls. I just really didn't like the look, and I changed it from that dark fencing to the lighter fencing. It looked a little better, and I decided that this was going to be a little pool. It's 3x3. You're not going to be swimming laps in this thing, but I really liked it for the aesthetic. I placed some floating candles, and what you're not going to see, because I did some of this off camera, is there is greenery all over the building and all over the pool area and all over the fence. I didn't do all of that on camera because it got really repetitive, and I did a lot of it off camera. You'll see it in the screenshots. You'll probably see some of it as we're decorating the interior, but I didn't just leave it plain. It's not just blank. It is a little bit more private than it is. I thought that if it were, in real life and not The Sims, that would be a really relaxing place to just sort of like hang out with your significant other. Maybe it's a little bit more private in the way that maybe you have to rent the space before you use it. Not everyone can jump in. I'm imagining that it's heated, it's not very cold, and that just sparked some joy for me. And we all need a little bit of joy from time to time. So then we jump into the interior. This is a reception room. Everything, every single piece of this room is decorative. You don't need a reception room. Your sim can just walk in and do what they need to do. But I felt like it was going to be really odd if there was, all of these services. I'm using air quotes. You can't see it. But there's all of these services and there's no way to check in. Again, completely decorative, but it fit the vibe, I love this rounded Journey to Batu bar. And it might function as a bar. Like, you might be able to hire a bartender. I didn't try. but I did not realize we had a rounded one, and when I found it, I was thrilled. So thrilled. So I just placed a cash register. There's a few plants, some business cards, a lamp, and then a ton of towels, because I'm imagining this is where you can kind of grab a complimentary towel, or maybe if you've lost yours, you can come up here and get a new one, or maybe when you check in, they give it to you whether or not you brought your own. I don't know. I didn't think that far into it, but I imagine that they would be up here ready to grab for you if you needed one. Then I placed this bookshelf. I was initially going to place a wardrobe, but then I realized I was going to have a locker room. And so I decided to go for something a little bit more decorative. And we're just cluttering it up. There's more towels. There's some boxes with things in them, probably other towels. Or spa service items, free gifts, something like that. I placed a little tea set because I thought it was cute with the tea clutter. There's quite a few plants in this build, which is not unsurprising for me. Plants to me speak relaxation, like that's what they say. And it just would have felt abnormal, I think, to not include them. Do you know what I mean? That could just be a me thing though. And then I placed this little couch here. I almost went for the Moschino couch because I actually really like it. I have a hard time actually using it because the patterns are a little wonky, but I do like the shape, which is surprising. And then we're just placing some artwork. I do actually swap this out. I'm about to place a shoe rack. I think I leave the shoe rack, but I remove the coat rack. And all of the artwork in this room ends up just being a black and gray scale. I liked that look a little bit better. It felt a little bit more natural. I don't decorate any of the hallways. Like this stairwell, there's a little tiny hallway in between the bathroom and then upstairs. I don't put anything except maybe like a picture because it's a community lot, not a home. It didn't feel like it was necessary. So if you do download this, just fair warning, I took the lazy route and I didn't include anything. So you'll have to play some stuff if that's going to bother you. But we're working on the first locker room. I do hang some artwork that looks like it would be for the men. I don't think it matters. I think men or women can use both, but I'm really imagining that this is the locker room you use to change before you go up to the spa services. And then there's those little 2x1 rooms are where the toilets go. I don't really decorate those on camera either, I don't think. Maybe I do, I can't remember. We're gonna find out. And then this is the second locker area. This one is also decorated as if it's for the women, just based on the picture. But I'm imagining that this is the locker room you use before you shower and go out to the onsen. So that's really why there are two, but I guess you could break it into gender as well if you wanted to. Okay, so I do the toilet area on camera. There's no decoration in there. It's a toilet, a light, and I put some tile up. Mostly because I needed a toilet and I had the space. I'm going to be totally honest. You can't wash your hands in there. You have to go all the way into the shower room, which we're working on now. And I initially had it divided directly in half and the showers were going to go on the right hand side. I decided to get rid of that window and place the showers in just a 1x4 because there's 4 showers. And I like this look better, obviously, because I did it, but it made it feel a little bit more streamlined. And then you're going to see me place that. It's like a towel wardrobe thing. I actually get rid of that and I placed 2 sinks because I realized at the end that I had no sinks. So I placed 2 sinks. I think they're both from Dream Home Decorator too. It's the square ones that kind of look like they would be in hotels, if you know what I mean. And I placed mirrors above them. So there are sinks in the build. I don't know why I spaced on that, but I did. And then we head upstairs. So this first room is going to be the nail salon area, or I guess the manicure pedicure area, whatever you want to call it. I just initially start by placing the chairs. I knew I was going to use those little stools because they look like the ones that are used in nail salons that the nail techs sit on. And then I grabbed these carts from Nifty Knitting and I covered up the bottom because it had yarn and stuff on it, but I decided it kind of looked like nail art design equipment material. I also placed an incense burner as my accent slips there a little bit, and I think that's it for this room. It's really the same thing in 4 separate ways, which maybe that's cheating a little bit, but was the most realistic use of the space for me. And of course, there will be plants in this room as well. I'm not going to lie to you, this is probably my second favorite room on this lot. The massage rooms are my actual favorite. I had so much fun with those. But I really like the way that this one turned out as well. I think it's the way the light pours in during the day. It's just really pretty up here. Maybe that's weird to say, but I don't know. It's where we are. Then we head into the first. This is going to be massage room. If I finish my sentence, this is going to be a split room, and the one on the opposite side is the exact same size and it's the same layout. It's just got a different color scheme. So there is a tub so you can have a mud bath if you wish, or any of the other spa-like baths. And then there is a massage table on the other side. So I really love this. I liked the color scheme. I thought this area was so relaxing. And I had a little trouble mixing and matching some wood tones, but we got there in the end. But on this note, I'm going to leave you guys here because the other half of this room is exactly the same as this one, and I think I cut some of that down. So I will leave you here to enjoy the rest of the build. As always, feel free to leave a like or a comment down below letting me know what you think. You can also subscribe if that's something that would spark joy for you. I will be posting the screenshots on Instagram as per usual if you want to head over there and check those out. In the meantime, I will see you on Monday with my next build, and I hope you have a lovely day and a lovely rest of your week. Bye, guys.
Secondhand, I felt a bit forgotten. Not your plan, but now the days of silence outgrow the fun things we have done. But tell me, do you wanna carry on? Plants don't grow without water, and they cave when it's cold. We could go till we're older. Put your head on my shoulder and let's enjoy the ride. When we started, our wishes aligned. We were like yin and yang combined. Now the tables have turned. Can we live and unlearn? You tell me. Joy.